Alright, I hope the wind isn't too bad. Alright, this is my front bed. I put all kinds of different things in here every year. And I try to do it in a layering system. The first year I put this in here, I put a bunch of wood chips and dirt and all kinds of things on the bottom of it, or wood chips and grass and leaves and stuff on the bottom, and then dirt on top of it. I've done that every year since. So I've got over here, my brick fell off. Let me show you what it looks like. One brick fell apart. Let's see if I can get you in here. See that beautiful layering, gorgeous black soil. Now this is going to be my fifth year growing in this bed. Whoa. Every year I grow something different. This year I'm going to be growing marigolds, and that's what I'm doing today. But I also grow in tanks because we're only allowed to have so many beds, and they have to be above ground. And I can't grow anything that grows deep roots. So anything that I want that grows deep roots, I have to grow other ways. That's why I have fish tanks. So all I'm doing is pulling I grew my beans in here last year, all my bush beans. You see those pictures on my Instagram. I just let them die right in the ground, and then as the snow melts and opens up the bed, I come in. The ground underneath is still frozen solid, which is good. The snow just melted all the way away. This weekend. So it's Tuesday. We still have a few spots with snow. Right where we get the good shade all day. But for the most part we're ready. Even if it snows one more time, I'm not actually doing too much planting. Maybe stuff in the ground. So all I do is snap all the dead plants at their frozen roots and layer them into the bottom of new fish tanks to grow in. We have a cleanup week in our town, and I go around and collect fish tanks. I collect, as you can see right there, growing boxes. I also collect pots. Grow anything I can if I'm not I was allowed to have in-ground garden beds. I do go back to with layering to get it going. Alright, now the bottom of this tank is full of plenty of green plant. Then the important layer. I'm going to go get food muck to help feed this. Alright, here I have another fish tank all ready to go. There's paper on the bottom. That dirt that's in there is just from the bottom of a couple of oregano plants over there that we're going to be replanting and regrowing. All I'm going to do is make a layer of all this. got the paper down. There is some mulch in here from leftover from the bottom of these. These were potted in a hanging basket last year, and I let them go to sleep, hibernate, and sit outside all winter. And now they're starting to get ready to wake back up. So I'm going to make them a tank for their second year. So this is mulch that was at the bottom of their pots from last year. So all they do is, again, break off and kill, not kill, they're already going to break off all the beans at the root, at the ground, and layer them in. Okay. Those are already dead. Over here. Yep, grab them, snap them. Alright, now a layer of leaf. And then I'm just going to put these oregano plants back in on top. I'm not planting them. I'm just setting them in here to start warming up more, getting ready for spring more. And come my second round of prepping the tanks, I'll put a layer of dirt, and then these will be covered up. The root ball here will be covered up with dirt, and it'll take over the whole tank. So we're just going to leave it out like this in the sun to warm up a little bit more for the rest of spring. Alright, this was my potato patch. As you can see, the wood chips have all broken down. I had pushed all the leaves off to the side, and I saw green stuff growing up. And I figured, alright, you know what? I'm going to experiment and see if maybe I've created myself a little back to Eden garden spot. And see if I can grow a few seeds into the ground. I was just watching the Back to Eden video by Justin Rhodes with that guy who has that farm up in Canada. And when I came out here to walk around the yard, I had pushed leaves aside and saw this green stuff, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna, and it's can dig down deep because it had wood chips on it. All the wood chips broke down almost completely. Whereas other beds I have that didn't have as many wood chips on them or weren't growing back. This one I've been growing back to Eden style for several years because I grew potatoes in it. And my grandfather always grew and threw wood chips on top of his potatoes, so that's what I was doing in this spot. Well, I decided not to grow potatoes this year because I can now get them from a really good source. So I decided not to try to grow myself a small plot and waste space because I'm going to be trying a 100-day challenge to grow as much of my own food as I can. Well, this bed is not figured into my plan for my 100-day challenge. I was actually going to tear all the dirt out of it and use the dirt in here for layering and other fish tanks. However, I've got plenty of dirt in other spots for new fish tanks that will be coming in. So I'm just going to leave this here and I'm going to try an experiment. He just plants his seed, he says, right into the ground in the spring. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment. I got peppers. I doubt those will grow, but why not try? Into the corners so I can support them as they grow bigger. Ooh, I forgot my holy basil. I'll have to go back inside and get that. Not my MI Gardener carrot seeds. Those are for a specific tank. Let's just try. Some Denver half-longs? Sure. Why not? Now, I've never thinned my carrots, and when I was watching, because my grandfather never thinned his carrots. The way I grew my garden is the way I watched my grandfather grow his garden, because that's what I was taught. And then I've been learning some other new techniques to go along with it, so I'm combining them. And one thing was, my grandfather never thinned his carrots, so when I was watching that Back to Eden thing by Justin Rhodes, he said the same thing. Oh, I never thin my carrots. The dirt moves out of the way for them. And I can see that. When you got a Back to Eden style garden bed, the dirt is so airy and soft and it'll move aside for them. Alright. The back is going to be a row of carrots. Now remember, I'm going to push all this stuff back on top of it. Let's do a second row of carrots. Cover them up with a little bit of dirt. Okay. Now, like I said, I forgot my holy basil inside. So, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go inside. I'm going to get my holy basil. And I'll be back. Okay, I've got my seeds. And now we shouldn't have problems because I brought my little basket. I got dozens of these. We have a cleanup week in our city. I think I already said that once. And we go around, and this is one of the things I grab is baskets. Alright, basil. And we want to grow holy basil for my husband because he loves to just eat it. Pick it and eat it right off the plant. No, he doesn't need a whole bunch of rolls of it because I plan on growing others, and I have some other holy basil inside also for tanks and hanging containers. So I'm just going to do one row because, like I said, this is an experimental bed. Lightly cover it. We don't want it too deep in the dirt because we're going to be covering it back up with other stuff. And then one final thing in the front, just again for an experiment. And I have short growth here. I want something that grows short and low to the ground, plus has a short growth cycle. So I'm going to do cherry bell radishes. Come on, container, open. Again, I'm not going to worry about thinning, spacing, none of that, because it's soft, airy dirt. And if you're doing it right, they'll just push aside. Now remember, I've also got peppers shoved into the corners. Now I'm not 100% positive where exactly in the corners they are, because I already covered them up and hid them. But that's okay. We want this to be a completely experimental. And again, I am in an urban area, and we're not allowed to dig into the ground. So everything has to be done on top of the ground. And the radishes won't grow so deep as to be considered in the ground. And they're also kind of hidden from view. The radish itself won't go into the ground. Because of how deep this is, but the roots will go into the ground. Alright. Now I'm just going to take and cover all this back up. With all the mulch chips I had pulled off to the side. I'm going to have to add more later. Leaves and all, they help retain moisture. And in fact, I'm going to go get my bag of leaves. Ooh, I might just have enough here. Nope, I'm going to go get my bag of leaves that I saved from last fall. I've got several bags. To put them on here. Hold on, actually, I bet you I do have enough. Around edges. Just like in nature. Now those seeds are in the ground. The moisture's in the ground. They'll retain their moisture, but they'll get direct heat from the sun. Just like in nature. If you look at the edges of the bed, where all those leaves were, we've already got green coming up. So, that's what we're going to do here. Now, let's get this bed here going, because I decided I changed my plans. Back in January, I had made a garden plan on how I was going to grow and what I was going to grow where. And then about 2 weeks ago, I watched Justin Rhodes' 100-day challenge, grow your own food in 100 days. So that's what I decided to do. And then today I was watching another video by Justin Rhodes, the Back to Eden, and it made me even alter my plans even more for what I'm going to do for my 100-day grow challenge. Now the bed I just planted and this bed here will not be part of the 100-day grow challenge because I had decided upon something else. Okay. I was growing something here. Yeah, and a lot of this is dirt. And I had already planned I'm using some of this old soil from over here in tanks, and I'm not going to need all the soil, so I'm going to have some leftover soil. So I'm just going to take what I need now and stick it on my other garden bed. Alright, I squished all of those leaves down. There's more leaves that keep blowing in. I squished all those leaves down, and I've got about 3 inches of soil. And then in a couple of weeks I will be putting down mulch on top of the plants as they come up. And again, this is experimental, so I didn't plan on this bed. I'd actually written this bed off and was going to be tearing up all the dirt and all the other, and I've got enough, so I'm going to just experiment. This isn't a part of my 100-day challenge, so I'm going to count it as extra food. So I'm going to plant some cabbage. Tetra Noir. These I am going to plant one seed at a time. I don't know how big they're going to get. This is all experimental. Alright. And I'm going to set it and forget it, and in a couple weeks after it's rained and these have sprouted, I'm going to put some mulch on top of it. Okay, 2 rows of that. Then, more experiment. Let's see here. What do I want to put in there? I know. Let's start a squash. Because I decided all that back there, I'm going to lay some dirt and some mulch down back there and allow some squash to crawl and climb and go crazy. So, stuff comes up, yay. If stuff doesn't come up, whatever, I'll just plant again. I don't know what kind of squash this is. I'm going to be canning all of it for pies and breads anyways. Now this I know for sure. This is a Pennsylvania Dutch crookneck. So let's get that planted. There we go. Bed's all covered, planted. We'll see what happens. This is all experimental. I'm going to put some leaves on top of this for moisture retention. Not just moisture retention, it'll be food also. Once it goes underneath of the mulch, because this will start to break down right away. This is all stuff from last fall. Help keep moisture in the soil. Seeds are in the ground. This is all experimental. So you're coming along on this adventure with me. Alright, on to the next one. Okay, springtime. I'm also redoing other plants. This is, I think you saw this in one of my other videos. And this was the top of it. And I've added more dirt and repositioned all of the little, we have decorations in most of our little plants. It just makes you happier to see them, which makes you happier to see the plants. And they've already proven, oh come on, focus. They've already proven talking to and giving the emotion of love to your plants and to even water. There was a study in China or Japan, I can't remember which, where they took petri dishes of water and then held the petri dish and thought of a specific emotion, and then they froze it, and the ice crystals froze differently. So we like to add little fun things to all of our potted plants because it gives us a happy emotion when we look at them. And then I just added a new layer, and this is that idea of compost everything and then layering. I mean, literally, I have tea bags in here. These will break down. They already have. There's broken down ones way down here. That's nothing but nothing anymore. And the tank will just keep breaking down and feeding my plant, breaking down and feeding my plant, and I'll layer it back up. Let's see if I can get it really good. It's so dark in here. Did that help? A little. There we go. And there we have it, the first barbecue of the season. We're going to make ourselves personal salads, and we wrap our burgers in whole lettuce leaves. That one's not a whole one, there we go. It's bent over, but we wrap them in lettuce leaves instead of using bread. It's so much better for you, and they're actually really tasty that way. And when it comes to spreading your mayonnaise on the bun, you can spread it on your lettuce leaf the same way you do on your bun, but don't make it as thick. And then all of our dressings for our salad. Yum. What a great start to the summer.